Irma Boom is an Amsterdam-based graphic designer who specializes in book design. She is considered by many to be an iconoclast, designing her books more for the beauty and experience of them than for actual usefulness. She has made over 300 books, 100 of which are in the permanent collection of the MoMA. She teaches at Yale University, and her clients include Ferrari, Chanel, the Rijksmuseum, and the United Nations. One of her most impressive designs was for the 2136-page SHV Think book, which she worked on for 5 years. The page edges were trimmed to depict a field of tulips printed on them when read from left to right, and the words of a Dutch poem from right to left. When Ms. Boom was told that it would take 14 years to make her chosen paper for the book, she invented her own. Boom's design for the book Weaving as Metaphor by the American artist Sheila Hicks was awarded the Most Beautiful Book in the World award at a book fair. The page edges were hacked with a circular saw to evoke the fraying edges of the artist's work. In designing a book for Chanel, she chose to use no ink at all in search of the purity which was the hallmark of Coco Chanel's style. She is known for obsessing over every element of her books, not just how it will look, but how it will feel and smell, and she often invents ingenious ways of achieving the effects. One of her books was printed on coffee filter paper. Another was scented like soup. Irma Book was designed by her for a retrospective on her work. When asked what would make her create a book that was 2 inches tall and half as thick, she replied, "The book is small because whenever I make a book, I start by making a tiny one. I have hundreds of those small books and am so fond of them. I've always wanted to make one for publication, but no one has ever wanted to do it. And I thought, well, this time I can." She has also designed wallpaper and textiles. For my design object, I chose the perhaps obvious choice of creating a tiny book. Working with Shakespeare's sonnets, I designed a book containing all 154 sonnets, plus a first-line index and an explanatory page. I found Boom's color work very inspirational, so I chose to color the edges of the pages in a pattern that is related to the sonnet style of poetry. The colors were chosen from photos of the Globe Theatre and paintings of Shakespeare. I chose to repeat the color pattern on the page edges in a gradient in the title of the book on the cover. I elected to make the design of the sonnet pages quite simple, with just the text of each sonnet and the corresponding number. The resulting object is quite endearing, I think. I'd like to leave you with a final quote from Irma Boom. If there is something common about my books, it is the roughness. It is that they are all unrefined. Very often there is something wrong with them. In my books, it doesn't even matter if you change details. It's more the total thing that is interesting.